We've talked a lot about how suppression can be used to get an advantage in a fight, but these techniques are not secret. The enemy knows how to use suppression as well. So they are definitely going to try and suppress you. And if they get suppression, they're going to try and maneuver, just like you would. And so when we get suppressed, when we find ourselves in a position where they have fire superiority and we cannot maneuver, then we need to figure out what we're going to do. And there's really three main options. First is that we can regain fire superiority. Maybe we have a bunch of grenades, grenade launchers, we have heavy machine guns, we have some air assets. We have something that can knock their heads down for a minute to get fire superiority and turn the tables on them. But in this case, we're outnumbered over 2-1. That's not going to work. So really what needs to be thought about as the leader over here is we need to start withdrawing. Maybe you want to pop smoke and start bounding back as best you can. Naturally, that comes with risks because if you are not able to fully obscure yourself, if you don't have good cover and concealment going backwards, you may be exposing yourself to enemy fire. But if the alternative is these guys coming up on top of you and going down the line and shooting you all in the face, that may be still a preferable option than just sitting there and waiting to die. Now, with that said, there is a third option, and this one is heavily starred because you don't always want to do it. But there are some instances where you want to maintain the fight. If these guys are not able to maneuver, maybe the terrain won't allow it, or maybe these guys, maybe they're insurgents, they don't have formal training, and they're just kind of sitting on a hilltop far away from you, just mag dumping into you, and you're behind really good cover, there may be an advantage to just letting them shoot. Let them burn their ammo, let them expend their resources, learn more about them, and then you can wait for other assets to get online, wait for friendlies to get over, and then you can start regain fire superiority and maneuver, stuff like that. But you really need to know your terrain. You really need to know the enemy. Sometimes you may know where they're going to flank from. You may be observing these guys are flanking through, but you know that as soon as they get to a certain point, they're not going to be able to assault. And this guy over here can watch the flank and just mow down anybody that comes in. That may be a situation in which you want them to flank. Let them flank. And you have such a good defensive position that they're not going to be able to do anything. So you're okay with being suppressed in this vicinity as long as you can shoot and have good fields of fire in a different direction. But you really, really need to be careful because if you're wrong about this, suddenly they may be able to suppress and start bounding forward, and then you're going to fight for your life in a 10-foot fight. And that is not a fun situation to be in. So be very mindful of the terrain, the enemy, your capabilities, what assets you have, so that this doesn't turn into a bloodbath on your end.